AskReddit. What screams, "I'm a man-child," but nobody realize it? Number 1. Everybody but the man-child in question will notice this. Never owning up to your mistakes, and constantly blaming something else for them. Notice what? It's all your fault to not be clear enough. Number 2. My 11-year-old nephew, who is the world's sweetest and coolest kid, told me his friend smashed a friend's Switch screen because he lost a game. He said it like it was funny or cool, so I raised my eyebrows and said, "Your friend sounds dumb." He looked uncomfortable, and just today his brother told me he threw a controller because he lost a game, and I gave him the same look. He again looked uncomfortable. I think I need to sit him down and tell him that breaking things when you're angry isn't funny or cool. Plus, he isn't rich like his friends are, and my sister can't afford to keep replacing his expensive electronics. Number 3. Every so often a big thread comes up from a guy 17 to 25 moving into his first place on his own and looking to start bringing lady friends home, asking for suggestions of what to put in the apartment to make it welcoming to women. This is not man-childish, it's fine and good. There was one I can recall where either the OP or probably just some really invested commenter was angry at most of the suggestions, in particular one suggesting multiple blankets, an extra pillow, and an extra towel in the event a woman slept over. But that's just catering to her? Why should a guy have things in his apartment just to cater to her? While it's rarely expressed so directly, it's an attitude I see in bitter, lonely man children a lot. Why should I do anything for you if it's not something I want? Doesn't matter if the action is as mundane as own 2 towels or if they want something from the person they're catering to. Women should just sleep with them but not expect comfort or entertaining dates. Employers should just give them jobs and fat paychecks. They shouldn't need things like qualifications or hard work. Friends should just loan them money and entertain them on a dime, but never ask them for anything. Number 4. Putting other men down for liking books or video games while they obsess over sports, Fast and the Furious, and cars. Everyone has a hobby and we all have things we enjoy. Liking video games or books doesn't make you any less of a man. Acting like watching sports makes you manly always seems like projection to me. How is a guy sitting on his fat ass watching football games all weekend any better than another guy sitting on his ass reading books or playing video games all weekend? It's the same damn thing. Number 5. Huge Monster Energy logos in his back window. I am always amazed when I see stuff like that because I simply can't imagine who this person is. I used to work in construction and knew plenty of white trashy redneck dudes. Never met one that would have had a monster sticker on their truck. I worked in sales, which was populated with a bunch of sketchy cokehead dudes. No monster stickers. Used to hang out with a few hardcore gamers, like full-on energy drinks, never water Mountain Dew loving, haven't changed their shirt in 3 days gamer brothers. None of them would have done that, and yet I see these stickers all the time. Does anybody know who these Monster Energy drink sticker people are? If you know one, please explain this character to me because I don't think I have ever met one. I genuinely don't know who these people are. Number 6. Trying too hard to act like an adult in front of others is super immature to me. People who look down on others for their downtime, as if sitting in front of the TV having a beer or playing fantasy football is somehow way more mature, just haven't grown up. I've heard men and women talk about X doesn't make you any money or get you ahead in life. Why waste your time on it? One is my friends on Steam. Judging others for playing video games publicly. But playing video games privately. Seriously, grow up. A group of us were chatting at work about what we do in our downtime. One coworker said she doesn't date guys that play video games cause of how they get obsessed with games and don't do anything else, etc. Basically talked about anyone who plays video games like they are a basement dweller. She apparently watches a ton of reality TV. I play video games when I have time, many weeks that can be 0 hours, but gamers are the obsessive ones cause watching TV is just what everyone does, or something like that. Number 7. Geez, I never really realized man-child meant anything but a guy who still really enjoys things that he loved in his childhood. I regularly joke that I'm a man-child because I'll play Pokemon or Mario, or every now and again I'll buy a Jurassic Park toy and jokingly play with it in front of my wife. Usually gets a laugh because I try really hard to be a goofball. Now I'm really rethinking my choice of words, because even though I can still kid around, I hope I'm never acting like what I'm reading here. Number 8. This could be a controversial opinion, but men who are homophobic. Especially college-aged men who think any gay man who sees them are going to hit on them and pretend that's the reason they don't like gay guys. Or guys who still use the F word for gay men. You just sound ignorant. And don't get me started on how those same men absolutely love lesbians or want girls to kiss each other at parties. Number 9. Weaponized incompetence. My STBXH bleached the colored laundry because he thought bleach killed germs, not that it bleached stuff. Pretty sure he did it to get out of ever helping with laundry again. All I know is that a smart person could have read the bottle in their hand before destroying a few $100s worth of business attire. Calling all your exes crazy, or talking down about lost friendships. We've all dated some cringe pill people, but if you can't respect an ex or a friend who dropped off, that tells me that you sprayed drama bullets into your relationships until you got a headshot, like a giant teenager. It tells me that you are incapable of disengaging a relationship for reasonable means and that you escalate to crazy because having enemies is easier than being a good person to you. Number 10. Jealousy and insecurity over nothing. I went bowling with this guy I was seeing, and he would go back and forth about being in a situationship or relationship. I went to get us some drinks, and he saw me talking with 2 other older men who were professional bowlers. When I was younger, I had bowled for probably 15 years, and we were exchanging stories for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. While I waited for our drinks, there was only one bartender, and it was taking a little longer than expected. By the time I returned, he was completely standoffish, admitted he was jealous, and felt put out that I left him alone. He was irritated when he looked over and saw me having conversation with others, and he sat there alone feeling foolish. I was very confused. Looking back, I would say this qualifies as kind of man-child behavior. He was nearly 30. Number 11. Well, I'm sure they don't realize it, or they do and like negative attention, like children, but people who blast their phones in speaker mode on public. I've heard guys in the bathroom and break room at full volume listening to video essayists reciting the Spider-Man villains wiki, and another guy in the middle-aged man-child camp who'll blast pro wrestling videos. Just 20 minutes of Vince or whoever doing that swagger talk they do between rounds. And the funny thing is, I understand. I'd do a nerdy wiki dive or watch that stuff myself. Just invest in a $10 pair of burner headphones. The cringe when you do that out loud is unreal. Except if you're listening to this video, it's totally fine. Number 12. Getting angry when someone rejects you. It's fine to be disappointed, sad, or even an emotional wreck when you find out someone doesn't feel the same way you feel about them. But if you're angry about it, then you think you're entitled to their emotions, which is childish. Number 13. Being obsessed with insulting anything they don't understand or don't agree with. This covers a broad spectrum, frankly, but I've noticed only the insecure ones tend to get genuinely upset over these things. The ones who don't understand will question things, but ultimately shrug it off since they just personally don't get it. If they're angry that something doesn't slot into their worldview, then they're a child in mind, adult in age only. Number 14. This might be an unpopular opinion, but dating women much younger than him. If it's a significant enough age gap, it's often because he's too immature for women his own age to put up with him. A 19-year-old girl thinks it's cool to date a guy 10 years older that doesn't live at home and has his own car, and thinks it's normal that he goes on benders and doesn't really know how insurance works because she is 19 and also does these things. I've seen this relationship play out so many times. Usually after a few years, the girl eventually will overtake him in maturity and leave his sorry ass. Number 15. I refuse to eat vegetables except if they are deep fried as chips wedges or as part of something like a spring roll or dim sum. Serve him some creamy butter-loaded mashed potatoes or some perfectly steamed carrots, broccoli, whatever, and he will leave them 100% untouched because he is full. Number 16. Often, it's not so much about specific behaviors or interests that label someone a man-child, but rather their inability to balance those interests with responsibilities and personal growth. It's perfectly okay to collect action figures, enjoy video games, or watch cartoons as an adult. These are hobbies, not indicators of maturity. However, when someone allows these interests to consume their life to the point where they neglect responsibilities, disregard the feelings or needs of others, or remain stuck in a perpetual state of adolescence, that's when it becomes a problem. It's about balance and emotional intelligence more than anything else. For example, if a person is more interested in achieving a high score in a video game than paying bills on time or being a supportive partner, then that's more telling of man-child behavior. As with everything, context is key. And remember, everyone matures at their own pace. It's never too late to grow up. Number 17. The inability to say I don't know. Just admitting you don't know everything. They're not know-it-alls trying to correct others. But they've always read the book, always played the game, always watched the show, always read the article. You can never teach this person because they already know, but they can't explain what it is before you tell them. I know that you know, that I know that you know I know that thing we were talking about, so now they know that too. Thank you for watching and listening to this video. If you would, go ahead and give that like button a smack and the subscribe button a smash for more videos. Smack and smash. See ya.